Welcome back to Betrayed. We truly appreciate your support. Where are you joining us from today? We enjoy seeing where these unforgettable moments are shared from. Now, today's cheating wife story begins. For the longest time, I believed I was a good husband, the kind of man who trusted easily and gave people the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't the type to check my wife's phone or question everything she did. I didn't feel jealousy, nor did I create unnecessary drama. To me, love meant trust, and I believed that trust was enough. My wife, Vanessa, wasn't a bad person. In fact, she was charming and full of energy. But she had a habit, one I ignored for far too long. She liked to push boundaries, to test limits, just to see how far she could go before I would say something. Sometimes it was small things, overspending on things we didn't need or staying out later than she said she would. I convinced myself it was harmless, nothing serious enough to argue over. But other times I could feel it was more intentional. There was a quiet challenge in her eyes, like she was testing whether I would stand up for myself. And then there was Jake. I knew his type, I had seen it before. Jake was someone Vanessa called a friend, but he wasn't just any friend. He was her ex. And no matter how much time had passed, one thing was clear to me. Men like him don't just hang around without a reason. They stay in the background, pretending to be friendly and supportive, waiting for their chance. I had told Vanessa many times that I didn't trust Jake. Not because I was paranoid, but because I understood his intentions. Still, every time I brought it up, she brushed it off. "You're overthinking it," she would say. "He's just a friend, Richard. Stop being so insecure. Honestly, he's like a brother to me." The same excuses, the same reassurances. And because I wanted to believe her, I let it go again and again. But even trust has its limits. And one day, Vanessa was about to learn exactly where mine ended. It was a quiet evening. Vanessa and I were sitting in the living room. The soft sound of the TV filled the space between us. She was casually scrolling through her phone and chatting about her day when she brought it up, like it was just another update. "Some of my old friends are planning a weekend trip, a beach house in the Bahamas," she said. "It'll be fun. Just catching up, relaxing, reliving the old days." On the surface, it sounded harmless. I had never been the type to control where she went or who she spent time with. We had always valued our independence, living our own lives while sharing them. But then she added something that made my stomach tighten. "Jake's going too." The moment she said his name, I knew this wasn't just a casual trip. There was something deliberate in how she said it. She paused, almost waiting for my reaction, watching to see if I would say no. And that's exactly what she wanted. For years, I had warned her about Jake. Not out of jealousy, but because I knew what I saw in him. Jake wasn't harmless. He was waiting for a moment like this. But this time, I didn't react the way she expected. I didn't argue. I didn't remind her why Jake was a problem. I didn't bring up all the times I had let things slide. I just looked at her, calm and steady, and said, "If you go, don't bother coming back." She blinked, surprised. Then she laughed. "Oh my God, Richard. You're so dramatic," she said, rolling her eyes with a smirk, like I was being silly. Then came the usual responses, the same ones she always gave. "You're overreacting. Jake's just a friend. You need to stop being so insecure." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, "Do what you want." And I meant it. She thought I was bluffing just like she always did. She had no idea that this time, I was absolutely serious. The morning of the trip, she moved around the house like nothing had happened. She hummed to herself while she packed, folding her clothes carefully, stopping now and then to check her phone, probably replying to the group chat. Every now and then, she glanced at me, maybe expecting me to repeat what I had said. But I didn't. I just watched. When she was done, she rolled her suitcase to the front door. She walked over, leaned down, and gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, just like she always did before any trip. "Love you," she said, her voice light and casual, as if our conversation 2 days ago never happened. Then, without hesitation, she picked up her keys and walked out the door. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I just stood at the window and watched as she loaded her suitcase into the taxi, sat in the front seat, and disappeared down the road. The moment she was gone, I picked up my phone. It was time to take action. As her taxi turned the corner, I stood up, exhaled slowly, and got to work. I had already made my decision. Now it was time to follow through. First, the locks. I had arranged for a locksmith the day before. Within an hour, the entire house was secured. The keys Vanessa kept in her purse were now useless. When she returned, she would expect everything to be the same. But instead, she would find a locked door and a life that no longer welcomed her. Next, her belongings. I walked into our bedroom. Her side of the closet, the vanity lined with perfumes, the drawers full of neatly folded clothes. One by one, I packed everything. Her dresses, her shoes, her makeup, every item she had left behind. Each piece was boxed up and labeled, ready to be delivered to her parents' home. I didn't want to give her a reason to come back, not even to pick up a forgotten sweater. Finally, it was time for the last step. The divorce papers. I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. "I'm ready," I told him. "Make it official." There was no hesitation in my voice, no doubt, no regret. This wasn't just a threat. Vanessa had spent years testing my limits, pushing the boundaries, and expecting forgiveness every time. She thought she knew me, thought I would grumble, maybe give her the silent treatment, but eventually let it go. But this time was different. This time I was done. The rest of the day, I moved through the house with quiet purpose. The home we had once shared felt different now, lighter, freer. The weight of doubt, of mistrust, of years spent ignoring my gut feelings, had finally lifted. By the time I went to bed that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. Peace. Vanessa thought she was off on a fun little getaway. She had no idea that when she returned, everything in her world would be different. She had made her choice. Now, she would have to live with it. In the days after she left, I barely thought about her. To me, she was already in the past. The decision had been made. The steps were in motion. I was ready to move on. I assumed she was still at the beach house, sipping cocktails, laughing with her friends, completely unaware that when she came back, this wouldn't be her home anymore. But on the fourth day, 3 days earlier than expected, she showed up. The first sign was a phone notification. My home security camera had detected movement at the front door. Curious, I opened the live feed. There she was, Vanessa, standing on the porch with her bags at her feet. She looked relaxed, like she had no clue. She reached for the doorknob, turned it, expecting to walk in like nothing had changed. But the door didn't open. She frowned, tried again, then again, and again. I watched as confusion took over her face. Her brows furrowed as realization set in. She leaned in, inspecting the lock, and in that moment, she understood. It had been changed. Her hand flew to her phone. Seconds later, mine started to ring. I let it ring a few times before answering. "Richard," she breathed. Her voice was already shaking. "The door won't open." I kept my tone calm and detached. "You don't live here anymore." Silence. I could hear her breathing, shaky and uneven, like she couldn't process what I had just said. "Your things are at your parents' house," I continued. "Expect the divorce papers in a week or two." More silence. Then her voice came back, desperate. "Richard, please wait. Let me just—" I ended the call before she could finish. Seconds later, my phone buzzed again. I watched her name flash across the screen. Once, twice, 3 times. I didn't answer any of them. Then the messages started. "Richard, please talk to me. I messed up. I'm so sorry. It's not what it looks like." I stared at my phone as the messages piled up. But I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel sad. I felt nothing. This was the same woman who had laughed in my face when I asked her not to go. The same woman who kissed me goodbye, confident I wouldn't do anything about it. And now she was begging. Another message popped up. "Please pick up. There's something I need to tell you." I checked the camera feed again. Vanessa was pacing the porch. Her face was flushed. Her hands were shaking. She ran her fingers through her hair, clearly panicked, probably wondering how everything had gone so wrong so fast. Then the text stopped. Instead, she sent a voice note. I hesitated, then played it. The moment her voice came through, I knew this wasn't just guilt. This was fear. Her voice was raw, trembling. Richard, please.
Please listen to me. You were right about Jake.
I should have listened to you. I swear I never thought this would happen. She took a shaky breath, sobbing as the words tumbled out. I drank too much. And when I woke up, something happened. Jake recorded it. He's blackmailing me. Her breath hitched. Panic filled her voice. I didn't want you to find out like this. I didn't know what to do. Please, Richard. I need you. I sat in silence, listening to her desperation fill the stillness of my home. She wasn't just sorry. She was terrified. The man she trusted had betrayed her. And now she wanted me to fix it. Once, maybe I would have. Once, I might have convinced myself that love meant forgiving the unforgivable. But that version of me, the one who ignored his instincts, the one who allowed himself to be disrespected time and time again, he was gone. I typed one final message. Enjoy your life, Vanessa. You made your choice. Now live with it. Then I blocked her. That was it. The true ending to a story I should have ended long ago. I never looked back. Never asked friends how she was doing. Never checked in. She had spent years thinking I would always forgive. That I'd never walk away. She was wrong. From what I heard later, it didn't take long for her life to fall apart. Her parents weren't happy. They didn't know all the details, but they knew enough. They knew she walked away from a good marriage. They knew she ignored my warning. And they knew she came back to find herself locked out, literally and figuratively. Her father was furious. He had always respected me, saw me as a steady man who looked out for his daughter. And now he was forced to take her in because she had nowhere else to go. Her friends? They weren't much better. A few reached out, trying to defend her. Richard, she's really sorry. It was just one mistake. At least talk to her. I ignored them all. They didn't have to live with the choices she made. I did. And Jake? The man she risked everything for? The moment things got messy, he disappeared. When she started telling people he had recorded her without her consent, he knew what that meant. He ghosted her. The man she chose over me wouldn't even pick up her calls. And so she was left, alone, humiliated, full of regret. Meanwhile, I moved on. I focused on work, on rebuilding my life. I didn't waste a second wondering if she missed me, or if she finally understood how badly she had messed up. Because deep down, I already knew, some mistakes can't be undone. Some choices have consequences you can't run from. Vanessa thought I was bluffing. She thought it was just another threat. She was wrong. Some lessons in life come softly, like a whisper guiding you in the right direction. Others come like a storm, ripping through your life and shaking the ground beneath your feet. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's a story about boundaries, about knowing when enough is enough. For years, Richard ignored the warning signs. He thought love meant being patient, even when patience looked like weakness. He believed trust meant turning a blind eye. But trust is a two-way street, and respect should never have to be begged for. Vanessa thought she could keep pushing, that the limits Richard set were negotiable. But life has a way of showing us that once certain lines are crossed, they can't be redrawn. And when someone shows you over and over again that they don't respect you, the strongest thing you can do is walk away. What about you? Have you ever had to set a boundary that someone refused to respect? Did you ever reach your breaking point? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Until next time, take care. And remember, knowing your worth isn't just about what you're willing to give, it's also about what you refuse to accept.